The way this witness loses her cool when she tries to answer the question is hysterical. You got to check it out.
Should bureaucrats implement rules and regulations that are not delegated by Congress?
It's not the bureaucrats that do it. It would be an agency.
The bureaucrats working in the agencies, should they be in charge of enforcing rules and regulations not delegated to them by Congress?
No, and that does not occur.
Well, Ms. Katzen, you stated while some elected officials accuse the agencies of running amok, no agency is a free agent, and they can only do which Congress has delegated them.
Correct.
Now, I agree with that. However, we see in agencies all the time rules and regulations that are enforced on the American people that were not delegated to them by Congress. For instance, just in the last 5 years, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has changed its long-standing positions on firearm products 3 times through administrative fiat. Would you agree with that process in the ATF?
I have no quarrel with what the ATF has done, because in each instance,
but you said here that they can only do which Congress has delegated to them. So now these changes have resulted in products that were previously classified as lawful by the ATF. Now they're being considered illegal or regulated under the National Firearms Act. And more recently, we've seen with the ATF's rule to categorize pistol braces, these stabilizing braces, as heavily regulated short-barreled rifles, essentially making homeowners, gun owners, nearly obtaining maybe 40 million firearms with stabilizing braces, criminals overnight, felons even. And so, Ms. Katzen, would you say that this is an abuse of that separation of power? Because that rule is not something that Congress has delegated, but the ATF has taken it upon itself to regulate this rule that they created to make millions of Americans felons.
With respect, I was trying to answer your question before you interrupted me to say that the ATF had, in each of these instances, sufficient statutory authority from Congress, and that any challenges to that—
Ms. Katzen, it is my time. So Congress never authorized the ATF to ban pistol braces. Congress never authorized the ATF to do that, to make millions of Americans felons overnight. And so I would go back to your statement that you said in your testimony that these agencies are not free agencies, and they can only do which Congress has delegated to them to do.
Congress is not
Ms. Katzen,
specific. Excuse me.
Thank you. My time. No, ma'am. It's my time. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Katzen,
so you are not interested
in
my views.
It is my time. Thank you.
Lauren Boebert is very clear in telling this woman that the ATF cannot do anything unless Congress tells them to do it. They can't create their own rules. They can't change policies. They can only do what Congress tells them to do. And what Lauren Boebert's saying is that on their own, they create this rule that made over 40 million Americans criminals overnight with this rule with firearms. And Lauren Boebert is saying that is an abuse of power, and it's not right. And she's questioning this woman, like, you know, what do you have to say about that? And the woman starts to say or suggest that the ATF has only done what Congress has asked them to do. And Lauren just like cuts her off and says, Congress did not give permission, did not delegate, did not tell ATF to create a rule that made millions of Americans criminals who own these wrist guns overnight. And the woman is like, she's kind of lost in what she should say. And then when Lauren kind of told her that, made a comment about her house, it's like a 2.7 or 2.2 million dollars worth, like that's her house. She was like, she definitely like, you're taking this personal, and she starts to go down that road instead of, you know, trying to answer the question. And as Lauren is trying to hold her department accountable for making rules that, you know, made Americans criminals overnight. It's ridiculous.